Everyone, I call to order
Good
the
morning.
Design Review Board for Tuesday, April 5th, 2022. The first item on our agenda are the minutes of March 15th, 2022. Do we have any questions or comments about those minutes? If not, then I would appreciate a motion to approve. Do I have a motion?
Can I make a motion?
Thank you, Cheryl. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. The next item on our agenda today are the awnings and plantings at Tuto Cafe at 55 Main Street, LLC. And is the applicant present?
Yes.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning,
can you
everyone.
please describe the application, please?
We are planting in I was hoping Dominic would be here, but that's okay. We are doing plantings on the perimeter of the brick patio, which is the property of the building. It's all inclusive there. So that's going to sort of give a natural barrier and a containment, I will call it, of the site. In addition to be, hopefully aesthetically, pleasing. And the awnings will be, as opposed to what was previously there, which were retractable awnings, these will be fixed awnings, which will be out over a portion of the patio, as you all see on the plans. And I think that's basically the extent of it. If you remember, prior to this project, we had one large planting area, which was sort of a, I don't know. I don't think it was the greatest thing. I sort of inherited it when we purchased the property all these years ago now. But I think this is going to be more attractive and especially for the use that we're going there now with. This will be hopefully, something that you guys are happy with and the community is happy with also.
Okay, and Billy Hayjack, what are your thoughts on this application?
So,
Good morning, Billy. Good morning.
Good morning, members of the
Hi,
board.
Billy.
So yeah, I think they're all planters, correct?
Yes.
Robert, yeah. So they're the planters.
So.
I mean, I do agree there was a kind of an unusual timber raised bed that existed prior to the septic upgrade. And that sort of defined the property line and controlled, pedestrian movement through there. So this is just a way of redefining, the property line through planters, more or less portable planters. In terms of the awning, I saw the plan. It's not clear to me what the material is or what the color is. I mean, there's sort of, the sketch shows it as being see-through or transparent, more or less, but I'm not sure if that's the case. And
Dominic just joined, so
okay.
Dominic, I think, can answer that question better than I can.
Okay.
Yes. Good morning. Yeah, it was drawn semi-transparent like that, so it's possible to see the outline of the building behind, but it would be a oyster-colored sailcloth, so like a off-white.
Is it see-through?
No, not at all. No, not at all. No, it was just drawn like that, so it's possible to see, because from that angle, you don't see the rest of the building. So we just put some transparency on it, but it would be a white canvas awning.
And
Are there posts? Sorry, are there posts holding it up? As you said, this is a permanent awning. Are there going to be posts or something?
No, it's a retractable 12-foot
okay.
awning.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry, Dominic.
It's
I was
retractable.
not aware of that. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I wasn't sure if I was muted or not. That's why I didn't want to speak.
Okay.
I thought that you had to ask permission to speak, so I wanted to.
I'm sorry, Ann, to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was just wondering if it's banded in red or if you did that just to see the outline of the awning.
Again, just for clarity's sake.
Okay. So it's
Okay.
it's all oyster with the black lettering for the Tutu Cafe,
Yeah, it's probably going to be a dark brown lettering.
the dark brown. Okay.
Yeah.
And each of the awnings Dominic, they look like they're coming out the same distance from the building. Am I correct? They're both
Yes.
When fully extended? When fully extended, how many feet will they be from the building, approximately?
So at the furthest point, 12 feet, but the building
12.
steps in, and I think the closest point is 8 feet. So 12.
Okay.
So the awning closest to the parking lot comes out 12 feet.
Okay, and it could
You
be
realize-
brought back to the building 8 feet, you're saying, and then fully retracted.
Yes, correct.
So there's two settings, 8 feet and 12 feet? Sort of?
Yes, just because the narrower awning, which is at the last building,
Yes.
that comes out 8 feet in order to match up in
Oh, I
alignment
understand.
with the other two. That's what I
Okay,
mean.
I understand.
no problem.
Thank you.
That's due to the way the building is scaled, Robert. You know, it
Yeah, it steps out.
scales back,
Yes.
as you know. Yes.
Yeah, now I see that. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Can I just ask one more question, please?
Surely.
The awning you'll have 7 feet, at least 7 feet, 6 inches of clearance to
That's
walk
Yes.
on-
off the ground.
off the ground?
Off the ground,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay,
Well,
thank you.
and I'm sorry, what is the total width of the brick patio next to the building, let's say to where the planters begin? You know, you have this little wood fence here, this little pit, I guess, for whatever, for the septic system. And then the brick patio begins at the first building and it goes straight across. How many lineal feet is that, the width?
I believe it's 21 feet at that at the widest point.
Okay, so it's 21.
Robert,
I'm sorry,
hey, sorry, no,
morning.
if I may,
please.
if I may,
please.
Tom Priato, building inspector, unless I'm looking at a different sketch here, I'm showing it to be 33 wide, and then at its furthest most point, like from the parking lot coming out 14 feet,
Okay,
and then 12 in the other areas. I just
okay.
want to be sure that we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, Tom, I might have the wrong measurement, sorry.
Understood.
So Tom, from the building, Tuto Cafe on the left-hand side, we have that drain pipe coming down at the beginning of the building. From there,
Yes.
all the way over to where this wood fencing is, what would that distance be approximately, about?
Well, you're speaking the distance of that the awning would encompass the two awnings, total width? would be
Yes, does it-
33 feet according to roughly 20.
Oh, 33.
2.8, according to this drawing.
But-
And the
And then-
awning itself is coming over 12 feet of that 33 feet. Am I correct?
Well, no, there's two awnings, one
Yeah.
one comes off the building, like at the parking lot, 14 feet out.
Oh, 14 feet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
That's not gonna help.
Got
No, you
it.
have it.
Okay.
But, and then the building has a little jog, so then it becomes 12 feet towards
12
Main
feet.
Street end, I'll
I-
say.
I just want to clarify, since working on this with the awning company, it looks like we're going to be a little shorter.
Good.
Which is going to be better for
Okay.
everybody. So
No,
yeah, we're
just-
shorter. So
Yeah,
we're
I just
12 and
wanna
8.
Make sure that we're accurate in.
No, it's just since we issued those plans, we've been going back and forth with the awning company, so we have a little bit.
Understood.
Okay. And then
What supports that 14-foot awning?
It's self-supporting.
Is self-supporting?
Yeah.
That's
They
quite a
usually-
span.
They usually scissor out like a,
Scissor, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and our code mandates that it's attached at one point at the building side there.
And if it should become windy or something like that, is there a built-in mechanism in the controls that the awnings will automatically close in case people are sitting under there or whatever? What?
There is that, I'll just jump in if I may, there is that technology, I know that, and it would be,
Okay.
it's advised.
So will that technology be incorporated in these two awnings? Dominic?
At this moment, we were not incorporating it, but we can certainly do that. So we can continue our discussion with the awning company.
Robert, this is consistent with, you know, any previous existing awnings, even though it is admittedly somewhat larger. You know, it would be manual now. I'm not sure the extent of the technology in terms of both price and effectiveness. I'm not sure how that works. Is that something that's available, Tom?
Yeah, I have seen it. I don't know. I couldn't speak to the cost.
Yeah,
I guess you
I
can get
was not
anything.
aware of that.
I guess you can get
Yeah,
anything.
I haven't used it myself, but I know it exists. So I think we can certainly have that conversation with the awning company and see what safety measures we can put into place if it's not available to have. I imagine you need some way to measure the amount of wind.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if there's. Go ahead, Robert. Sorry.
I've seen it on other awnings, different applications, but I was just thinking if, you know, the winds here by the ocean, they just kick up, you know, I just, it's a thought that maybe it would be a good safety feature.
I think it's a sensor that, you know, once it raises or lowers a certain amount, there's like a
Right.
little sensor. I don't know if it moves an inch,
Right.
up or down or something, then it comes back.
I've seen it.
I'm not
Yeah.
100% certain.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, we can report back to that. We didn't explore that yet, so we can definitely report back with some findings on that.
Okay.
So,
Board members, I'm sorry, Anne, what are your opinions?
yeah, no, not on the awning, but the fencing around, the picket fencing, is that staying like that? Where
That was to isolate the equipment for the IA septic system that we put in. That unit has to stay above ground. Believe me, I wanted to make it flush and bury it, but that was not an option, as I was told. That is going to stay because we don't want people walking through or having their dogs walk through and so on and so forth.
But it'll be covered as much as possible by planting and pots. So we know that we can't get outside of that perimeter, but we are thinking of pots or something on the inside so that we're covering that picket fence. It's not that the tenant doesn't want to celebrate that picket fence either. So.
And I believe that's the better way to go. We investigated doing some plantings within the fence area last year to dress it up, and it really was not feasible. In talking to both a landscaper, it didn't seem to function well. So the pots are a much better alternative as they're mobile, obviously.
And Bob, I'm sorry.
Yes.
No, I was just, I don't have the picture that I have, Rob, doesn't have pots around it. Is that, I mean, because it's flush, it seems like it's.
Yeah, it's in the same
Sidewalk.
line.
I'm sorry.
I have
I'm
it
not sure she
sticking
heard you,
out.
Dominic.
I have your building sidewalk and then the picket fence. Am I reading the design incorrectly? It's kind of sticking out it looks like you have your building walkway, red brick walkway, and then there's the rectangular enclosure that's a kind of an open picket fence that's not painted or anything. So is that, I'm actually in Connecticut, so I wasn't able to go by the building and look at it. So I'm looking at clearly from your plans. Am I reading it correctly on how it is situated?
Dominic, do you want to answer that, or? I believe Ann is correct in the way she described it.
Yes. Yeah, I guess that's a kind of granular detail in the design, but the idea was to be able to situate some some pots, because all the plantings are all going to be movable pots. They're not going to be fixed planters. So the idea was to be able to put some in that space and let it grow out. It's something that we're working on with the client's landscape designer. So I think it's a detail that hasn't been dealt with yet, but I know, having been there with the client, they want to come up with some way to cover that picket fence.
So, and is the plan to leave the picket fence natural or to paint it a dark green or a color? I mean, it just seems,
I think you'd want to leave it natural.
Yeah, probably we leave it natural and just try to get plants on the inside to push through and cover it as much as possible.
Well, excuse me, but what is the height of the picket fence?
Looks like about 3 feet.
I think it's two, yeah, it's about 2.5
It's
or
no
3
more
feet
than,
high.
it's no more than 3 feet.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
low. It's very small and low.
Okay,
Yeah.
look, it just looks worse in the drawing. That's
Yes, than real life, yes.
right. I mean,
I'm mad you put plantings around it.
it'll turn gray.
And
Yeah.
it's also consistent, the color of it being natural is also consistent with the picket fence that lines the walkway as you walk towards Main Street, which borders the, the village green there in front of the old barn building. So
Oh,
it's consistent with that.
Okay, and is it, Robert, I don't know this fact, but is it the same material? Is it the same wood as the other one?
Looks like cedar.
Yeah, it looks like cedar. It looks clear.
Yeah,
Cheryl, what do you
Clear
think?
Yeah.
cedar.
Okay,
I
Well-
think it's bigger.
No, on the other drawing that shows the seating arrangement, you have 18 seats. But I don't see where that picket fence is going to be. You have a host
Oh.
stand. And it's hard to read the, where it comes out from off the steps.
well, okay. It looks like, am I correct in assuming that where we have the overview of the brick patio and you have the plantings, it looks like, I don't know, maybe you could explain it here. This drawing here, what is this?
In the elevation.
This?
Oh, that's where the little picket fence is around.
Oh, yeah, I
That's where
thought
it is.
that.
Yes, exactly, yes.
So I thought, I didn't see it, but so this greenery it goes around it. Am I
Correct,
correct?
Yeah.
yeah. And then the idea is we will put something on the inside, but we just don't know exactly where the
Okay.
manhole hatches and everything. But the idea is that would be all grown over and.
Right, right.
Sorry,
Right.
I wasn't clear, Robert, where you were pointing.
Okay.
Good.
So with regards to this picket fence, we could either leave it natural or we could speed up the process and just use a little bit of the, the
Cabot's
gray
graying, yeah.
staining. What's it called? Cabot's gray stain?
Cabot's gray stain, yeah.
Yeah, the bleaching oil?
Bleaching oil, yeah. bleaching oil.
Yeah, why don't we go with if it's okay with the board and Tom and everyone, why don't we just speed the process along so it just doesn't stick out like this, and maybe just brush on some neatly some staining oil so it'll fade away a little bit, or it won't look that harsh. I don't know. What do the board members think about something like that?
I agree with
Cheryl?
I think that would be
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
So you could stain it, but of course that cedar will weather naturally. And I mean, it won't stay that reddish color. I think it'll lighten up if anything, but you could put some bleaching oil on it. But I think once you put the plantings around it, you won't be able to see much of the fence.
So Rob, so what you're doing is you're outlining your red brick portion of your property with plantings. Is that so? There's not going to be access from the parking lot on the red brick. The access is going to be on the other
On the
side,
alleyway side, yeah.
on the right-hand side. So you're blocking off that end, correct? Access. They're going to access your property from the sidewalk, not from the parking lot sidewalk, but from the side.
Dominic, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think that is somewhat of a work in progress, being that these are not permanently fixed,
Yes, they're all pots, yeah.
Right. Whichever way we decide to go, it's an access from a village sidewalk. So that's probably going to be perhaps adjusted as time goes on to see what's more effective. I'm not sure that it makes, I don't know that it's a big difference.
Yeah, there's going to be at whichever entrance we decide to make, there'll be a small host stand in order to control entry.
I think the reason why it's where it shows on the plan now, because it's opposite the new doors that we put in, which serves as the entranceway, which would make a nice, attractive visual for someone walking in.
Well, I also think if you have it open from the parking lot, you're going to have people walking through at that end where you have tables and not necessarily going to the restaurant. I mean, where you have it now kind of flows them in from the side, and you're not going to.
You are 100% correct. Yes, that is true. That will happen, of course.
So basically, there's no, as it is today, and it has always been, there's no access from the parking lot to Main Street. It's going to be
there's the village sidewalk.
Okay, right, exactly, backward, yes. Now, how many pots are there? Unless I missed that, how many pots and what is the diameter of these pots?
I think we have them I think we have the specification in the package. Let me just check that very quickly.
I know that specification was put in there.
So the plans show a 4-foot planter, a couple of 4-foot planters, 3 to 4 foot planters, I think, and 5 or 6 foot in pots. But I don't know the planters themselves. I don't know what. It's not very clear what they are.
What's the height and the width?
Yeah, it's not. I don't.
Yeah. So
see that.
and all these pots, what's the height of the pots? What's the inside or outside diameter of them? And what color are they? And what are they made of?
So just for the sizes, so we're ranging between 2 foot and 4 foot sizes of shrubs. And so the pot will range between 18 inches to 20 inches in diameter and probably 16, 17 inches tall. And they're proposed to be a mix of terracotta pots, gray and brick colored.
Oh, okay. So what I think, and the board or anyone could correct me, I think what we need to do is to you need to maybe submit or have at the site there some of, a sample of these, or a sample 1 or 2 of these pots in the colors and the diameter and the height, so that the board members could come and take a look at that, and maybe also specify the planters.
I believe we have them specified in that. The planters, not just the plants, right? Yes, we can. Yeah, I think it's a little bit.
So we can see what it looks like.
Yeah, so the tenant is interested in that as well, and the landscaper is sourcing some vintage pots, new pots, and I think the plan is to, within the next month or so, to make a mock-up on site with, so we could leave that mock-up out and have the board review that as well.
Okay. Well, I think that's a good idea. I think the board members, including myself, we just need to see it.
Yes.
You have it beautifully laid out on your drawings, but I think we all need to visually, sort of grasp what it looks like.
I agree, and I think the tenant is keen on that as well, and me too. So I think it's benefit all of us. I think it's a good proposal.
And let's also get a sample of the awning. You were saying that it's sort of an oyster white.
Yes.
And maybe also if you could submit a drawing with the size of the lettering and scale that. And board members, Anne, is there, Amy, anything that you guys see that we're missing here as far as a presentation of samples or examples of something that you might be thinking we need?
No, the only thing that I'm thinking of is the overall height of the awning when it is fully out, and just making sure that the overall height of that awning will be enough clearance.
Okay.
I think it has to be 7 foot.
I believe.
7 feet 6 inches.
Yeah, so the distance, just for the applicant, the distance, obviously, this has to be 7 feet 6 inches. And one other thing, I mean, it's nicely laid out. The drawings are beautiful. However, the size of the awnings in general, they do take up quite a bit of space there. One comes out 14 feet by almost 18 feet wide. Another one comes out 12 feet from the building, and it's 15 feet. So we have basically 32 feet, 8 inches of awnings. It's large. And any input on this? On this?
Well, I just want to make one comment on the
Go ahead,
clematis.
Cheryl.
On the clematis vine, what is that going to climb on? Is that a lattice or trellis? Is that going to be on the wall?
I'm not a planting expert, but I think the idea is to have some bamboo rods in the pot and have it go up a.
Well, it'll climb up on that.
Yes, not on the building. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that'll go up easily 7 feet, I would think.
Yeah,
Trellis.
so before the next meeting, we're gonna have a presentation of the pots, or
Well, let's just
What-
recap. So what do we need to present prior to the next meeting? You'd like a
Okay.
sample of the pots, a
need
sample
a
of the awning?
Yes, a sample, give us a drawing of Tutu Cafe for the
Lettering.
Lettering.
the valance on.
Yeah, we have that now. Yeah.
Why don't you give us a sample of just one piece of the little cedar with a little stain on it? Let's see what that looks like. And why don't we have a sample of, just maybe one of the rectangular planters, and maybe 1, 2, or 3 of your little pots, so that we could see that. And let the board in general, why don't we pick a time and date, and we should go there as a group and just take a look at this together so we could make comments.
You can't
about
go as a
this.
group,
Oh, okay, we can't. Okay.
2
Oh,
at a
that's
time,
right. All right. All right.
or 3. I think you're a 7-member board, so.
Okay, good. Okay. So we could so why don't we
Is
do
that
that
due to
before?
COVID, Pam?
Is it COVID?
No, open meetings law.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So Pam, how many can go together?
go 2 at a time.
Okay, well, okay, we'll pick a partner. Okay, let's do that.
Right.
Okay,
Or you could go singularly.
okay, we could do that.
Just don't
Yeah.
hold hands.
We won't, okay. And any other questions, Tom? What is your thoughts? Anything? Are we missing something?
No, I don't think so. Just
Okay.
want to, be clear that this is a
Yeah.
cafe and not a restaurant. While I have the
Yes.
moment. And as far as this seating, it can't be any greater than the number of seats inside. They're meant to be exchanged with the ones inside. And
Yes.
it's, there'll be an outdoor dining permit required, and that's just a little housekeeping on my end here.
Okay, and let's just put all that in writing, the applicant. Why don't you put that all in writing, just as Tom described it? And we'll all sign off on all these items. But definitely, let's go ahead and plan to do what the board is concerned with, these items that we just mentioned.
Robert, what is it that
What?
you would like us to put in writing?
Just the amount of people that will be outside and the number of people inside, so that it all meets the criteria of the village.
That's not a problem at all. I have previously discussed this with Tom, and he told me the procedure for that. I was not aware that it was part of the purview of this board, if that's the proper use of that term. But that was being prepared for Tom. Tom and I have already discussed doing,
Okay.
What is necessary. So I'm
Okay.
aware of that portion of it.
Well, if that's okay.
We
with the
have
building-
done that.
Okay. Okay,
Thank you.
I-
Yeah.
Have one thing, Rob. I think your architect talked about two different colors of pots. If just make sure in the mix that we have both the gray and the terracotta, so that
Mhm.
we can see the variations that you're
Yes.
planning on
And
using.
Dominic, if you want to figure out the time frame that you can get that material together, and relay it to me, and then I'll let everybody on the board know. I'll let Pam know, and she'll disseminate it from there.
Yeah,
Great.
exactly. Yeah.
On the looks of the planning, that once they get established, I don't think you're gonna see much of the pot, because I think a lot of the flowers and the ivy is gonna overflow.
Yes. And that's
I
the
think-
intention, correct.
So I think that, I don't know if that's a big thing about the color of the pot. I don't think you'll see much of the pot. Not according to the flower drawing.
As Dominic said, that is the intention.
Yeah, but also the tenant is interested in seeing the different colors as well from her landscaper. So yeah, I think we're all on the same page, because I think we
absolutely.
mock up. Yeah.
I would just ask if the size of the awnings is going to change or are changing. If you could just submit an updated sketch depicting the dimensions of them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been the process in the last month since those drawings were created has been a back and forth with the awning company and also with the graphic logo. So that's why I was nodding my head that we're starting to get all those details ironed out now. So yes, we'll have a final presentation with all the sizes of everything and the heights as well for clearances.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'd just like to thank both Robert and also Dominic. Very nice presentation, and the drawings are very nice, and we'll just simply do a little more footwork and let us know when it's ready. It's ready, and we could take a look at it.
Thank you for that. Our intention certainly is to make this something that's going to be really nice for the village. The feedback that I've heard personally and has been really positive, and I think it's going to be a nice amenity for our lovely village. So that's certainly our intention.
Robert, thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? So we'll see you at the next, if you could get it together for the next meeting.
We will.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
going to do our best. Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank you,
all.
Dominic. Thank you.
Nice to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the Bank of America, 14 Newtown Lane. It's a lighting application. Is the applicant present?
Hey, good morning, board. How are you? Ian here from Project Expeditors.
Good morning. Ian. Ian?
Correct, yeah, Ian.
Thank you. Could you describe the project?
Yeah, I actually have our civil engineer team on the line as well to discuss. So we have Jake Modesto and Mark Krachilski. I'm going to let Jake run through the plans.
Is it possible to share my screen, or do we want to? I can kind of talk through it.
You can share.
You can
Okay.
share it.
All right. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Beautiful. So this project is really part of Bank of America's national program. It's their exterior lighting program. The intent is really one is to upgrade all the facilities throughout the country with new LED energy efficient lights. This essentially reduces the bank's carbon footprint. Obviously, it's a cost savings when it comes to energy. And really what it allows us to do at that time is add to our customer safety. As part of the regulations set forth by the state of New York, there is an ATM Safety Act that requires certain level or certain requirements as far as foot candles. This is throughout the state. There's several different regulations that require us to illuminate throughout the property as it relates to the ATMs and lobby entrances. So that's really what this project is about, is bringing it into compliance and adding in these new LED fixtures, again, for this property and throughout the country. Bank's located on the north side of Newtown Lane. I think everyone's familiar with the property. Just going to go to the proposed improvements. What we're going to be proposing is 5 new pole-mounted fixtures to accommodate those lighting areas. Now they are measured in, we'll call it 4 different categories. Just bear with me because it is a lot. When we have to design this, we have to take into a lot of consideration. One is 1 foot candle at 5 feet above grade. So it's 5 feet above the grade, 50 feet from that ATM or entrance. We also have to provide 10-foot candles at 5 feet from the ATM entrance. So that's a little more intense as you get closer to the ATM. 2-foot candles at 30 feet, and that's at grade. So again, we have almost contradictory elevations that we have to illuminate for. And then 1-foot candle, 5 feet above grade, 60 feet from the ATM. The 51 is if you have a light meter, you actually measure it towards the actual ATM. So that's why those lighting, that 1-foot candle is different. So in order to accomplish that, we're proposing 3 new poles. We are replacing all the area fixtures on the building. We're removing actually 9 of them, 4 of them as part of the project. We are leaving, we'll call it the goosenecks, the front of the building. And all of that is really to comply with those requirements. We're also installing a fence located to be on the east side of the west side of the property, just generally located along the adjoining property. And that basically cuts off, you go ahead.
I'm sorry, could you just, the 3 large in the front of the building, this is the front of the building, right?
Correct, yep.
That item, the one next to it, and the one in the back, what are you calling those items now?
These right here?
Yes.
Okay, so these are the area fixtures. The UU5s just corresponds with the lighting, the detail that we have at the back of our page. These are the OSQ fixtures. I'll just flip to that page right now. They are generally these fixtures here.
Oh,
And
okay.
we've kept it consistent throughout the bank. So it's the UU6s, the UU5s. These are on the new area poles.
Right.
Then you have the UU4s and UU2s, just simply relating to the canopy fixtures, and then the recessed UU3s located within that front overhang area.
And this is a new fixture or what is currently there?
So some of them are new, some of them are replacements. So the UU1s, UU2s, and UU3s are all replacement fixtures. And then, go ahead.
Okay. Could you just point to the ones that are new? I'm sorry, and the ones, so we could just get a feel for it.
Yep. I'm just going to circle in red the new fixtures as best I can here.
Oh, thank you. That's better. Thank you.
As best I can here. Just give me a minute.
Take your time.
Yeah. So these are the new ones, and then the old ones. Just switch colors here. Go with the blue.
So the blue are the old ones.
Yeah, they're the fixtures to be replaced. Anything that's noted with the Y indication, YH1, those fixtures are not as part of the scope and they're to remain. We are removing, there's basically a floodlight in the front of the property. We're removing that. Yep. And then those goosenecks, as you said, which are labeled as YH1, we're leaving as well. So.
And the new ones are the same design as the old ones, or it's a new design?
It's a new fixture. It's a new LED fixture. I believe the ones on site are metal halide. They'll be 30K, which will be that cooler color, not the bright blue with LEDs. LEDs, they give us the ability to kind of change the temperature of the light. And then,
But the actual fixture design is the same, and you're just changing the light?
No, it's a different fixture.
Yeah.
So it's a different design. So there wasn't a gooseneck there before?
No, the goosenecks were there before. These ones here, if you can see these, those were there before. Those there, we're leaving those. We are not touching those. All the other ones that are really primarily for security purposes, we are replacing.
Jake, on the left-hand side, there are all these little circles here, and explain what's this on the left?
There's a bunch of existing trees that overhang onto our property. What they do when those branches come in, they block light. So what we're doing is we are trimming those trees up at the property line to ensure they don't block light. If you actually go down that the drive-through lane, it's kind of dark. So we're trimming it. We're trimming it back, and that's where we're adding that fence right along that curb line. It's a 6-foot high fence. It actually acts as what we call as an obstacle, which prevents people, in that case, someone has to go around it. 6 feet is what the state has determined as being an obstacle.
Okay. Billy, hey, Jack, what are your thoughts on this application?
Are you all complete with your presentation, Jake?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. I understand there's some guidelines that for requirements for having an ATM or a drive-through ATM, but in the sort of the big picture here, I'm just going to say this is a lot of lighting for the village of East Hampton for one piece of property, and I have some concerns over the pole-mounted fixtures along the sidewalk, the public sidewalk. And the spillover, the amount of spillover lighting that's going to occur from that. I think replacing the existing wall packs on the building they're obviously going to be positive benefits from that, because they're definitely not dark sky compliant right now. They're giant wall packs, and if I understand it correctly, you're going to be putting on a fixture that's a little bit more dark sky compliant. But those 3 fixtures along the front and the 2 by the drive-through, if I understand correctly, I think are mounted at a height of 25 feet. I'm not sure if I'm reading the plans correctly, but
so the 2 by the drive-through are mounted at 25 feet in height. The ones in the front are mounted at 12 feet. So we bring them down as you get closer to the right of way.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is the thing that we run into, just speaking we do this across the country, and we run into this issue, particularly in New York, where you have what we'll call is the property line conflicting with we'll call it our required location to illuminate. you can see that, you know, the dashed lines, the areas that for this particular at 50 feet at 60, at 5 feet above grade, what we have to eliminate actually extends beyond our property line.
Yeah.
And that's where our security teams, you know, have identified, you know, all the way out basically to the curb line. So this is where, you know, we have that contradiction of, you know, basically ATM safety code and obviously the aesthetics, you know, of the corridor.
Yeah, I understand. So we have to strike a balance here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my suggestion to the board would be for the board members to go out and take a look at the site, you know, specifically at night and the existing lighting. And then I think we should refer the plans to the village's consulting engineer for his review and let, you know, Vin Gaudiello opine on, you know, the fixtures and the requirements if he's aware of them, you know, as to what has to be lit and, you know, if there are possible alternatives to accomplishing, you know, the objective of lighting this the way it's proposed.
You know,
Could you do bollards or something, you know, in the front area? Would bollards would accomplish the same?
You know, I've explored that. I've done that a couple times. The bank, one, from a liability stand, doesn't accept bollards lighting. Two, bollards usually mounted at 32, 34 feet, 36 inches, sorry. So that's right at most, like the compliance level is 5 feet. So we'd have to have these 5-foot bollards. They don't do as much, we call it spread, as you would think. So we need like 30 of them just across the front.
Okay.
Well, any other questions from the board members? Cheryl? I'm sorry, go ahead. Amy?
Yeah, I had done a little walkthrough of the village. I was curious on what other banks in town are doing and what their lighting look like. And actually, let's say Chase Bank in the village, their lighting is actually matches what we have on the streets of, you know, Main Street. And I think this being something that is an exposed building that's so close on Newtown, you know, and you know, it's something to consider is, you know, looking at the aesthetic of the streets. It's literally right there on the sidewalk. So that's, you know, something I saw was what Chase had in front of their, you know, by their ATMs and everything like that.
I agree with Amy. I think that, and I agree with Billy. I think that this needs to go to the engineer, and I think we have to be careful with lighting. Lighting is good, but too much.
But you don't want the spillover.
Yeah, we don't want. Yeah, we don't want to. I don't want to change the way Newtown Lane looks with the, you know, a lot of these heavy-duty lights that make it look like, you know,
like a
7-Eleven in the afternoon on a sunny day in August, you know. Any other comments? Tom, Parado, any thoughts on this?
Oh, I think Billy put it nicely.
Yes.
Let our engineer look at it. I don't have the expertise as far as foot candles, et cetera. It's nicely presented. It is a lot of light.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So any other board members, any other comments? So with that, I guess we should go ahead and refer it to our engineer and then take a look at it, and then members of the board could go over and look at this, because I can't determine what it's going to look like and right now, but
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Just have them take a look at it. We're not electricians.
I just have one. Are there any banks that you guys in the area that you guys have made these transitions that we can see what this light looks like also?
Yeah, we can, I can send you a couple references where they've been installed recently. This is, you know, kind of the standard picture. So, you know, I get you at least a couple photos and locations in the area.
That would be.
Yeah.
Did you do this in Southampton or someplace like that?
Yeah, we pretty much the entire island. Most of these, yeah, you'll start seeing it all the way through. Any new lighting fixtures, this is part of it. Most banks should be doing this, but obviously Bank of America trying to jump on ahead of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just a quick question on the fence. It's a black metal.
Yes, it would be
Okay.
black metal. Yeah.
Okay. And it's sort of, it's very opaque. It looks like it's like little small 2-inch, rods. Okay.
Yeah.
Pickets?
Yeah, it's a kind of almost like an iron, like a wrought iron fence
Okay.
situation. Not necessarily wrought iron, but it's that same look. Again, it's just to act as an obstacle in case someone had bad intentions on the other side. They'd have to go all the way around.
So it'll keep the vegetation back too a little bit too, like you want. Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Okay.
Okay. Jake, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Any other questions from the board? So we'll go ahead and we'll get our engineer to look at this, and then we'll come back to you. You'll come back to us.
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All
Have a
right,
great day.
thank you.
Thanks.
Are there
everyone.
any other questions from the board on any other matters, Pam, any unfinished business we may have, or?
No, there's nothing else on the agenda.
Okay, thank you, Pam, and thank you, board members. If there aren't any other questions, may I have entertain a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye,
Okay, great. Thank you. See you at the next meeting.
very good.
Thank you. Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Bye.